Junior here, and welcome back to a brand new ranking. Today we're going to be doing one that I have been wanting to do for a long time. Very anticipated about it because, again, just like the last ranking we did on the channel, this one means a lot to me. So if you guys know, I'm absolutely huge on gaming, the industry as a whole, and one of my favorite parts of the industry is the developers, the studios, and the companies that make them. I'm a big part of behind the scenes and, getting to know, just really the industry, lesser than just awaiting a new game to release, staring at a screen and clicking buttons. I get to know a lot of the developers and studios that make them because that excites me. I tell my friends all the time when events happen is sometimes the trailers show the studios before the actual game, and a lot of the times I either already know what game we're about to see or am already getting hyped just because of the studio. I haven't even seen the game. I just see the studio and I know what's up because that's how much it means to me. I could care less, at that point. If it's a studio I like, I'm paying attention, right? And if it's studio I don't know, I'm also gonna pay attention because I'm like, hey, I haven't heard about these people. I wonder what they make. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just a big factor of why I love gaming. And so here I am going to be ranking my top 10 gaming studios. Now next week I will be doing a top 10 gaming companies, but that is completely different than studios. See, there's companies, then underneath them is studios. Ubisoft, right here, company, tons of different studios. Get it? All right, cool. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off in 10th place, which is, yes, technically last place, but I mean, it's top 10 out of how many studios? I mean, congrats. Right, and let me just say, I am not judging these studios on how talented I think they are. A lot of this just comes from the games that I enjoy the most. And so a lot of these are going to be or some of these I'm putting them up there because of one game specifically that I really like. And therefore I am eagerly awaiting their next game. But hey, this is my list. I can do what I want. I honestly, every team is talented in their own way. First of all, to even become a game developer, I mean, that is already a challenge. Making games is not easy, so every studio has talent, and I respect every single one of them. But this just comes down to the games I enjoy, and if I was to see this studio's name pop up, how hype I would get, right? It's kind of just like that. So, without further ado, coming in 10th place is Housemarque. So, yeah. I'll be real, the only Housemarque game I've played is, in fact, my third favorite game of all time, Returnal, and that is indeed why they are on this list. It just comes down to the fact I absolutely love Returnal. I think they did a phenomenal job with it. I can't even say how much I love it enough. I mean, it's third favorite game of all time. I mean, that should say enough as it is. Actually, I take that back. It's fourth. It's my fourth favorite game of all time. I take that back. But no, and the reason they are on here is because I cannot wait to see what they do next. I think they're working on a new IP, which is crazy because Returnal was a new IP. They just finished that up, working on another new IP, which I think is great. The fact that PlayStation acquired them because they are going to be pumping out a new IP, and that is great for them. I feel like PlayStation is a little lacking in the new IP sector, so Housemarque is going to be a great addition for them. Like I said, love Returnal, can't wait to see what they do next. I'm hoping it's another fast-paced action game, but I'd be willing for them, I'd be perfectly okay with them trying something different. I know they did say they want to go with something different, so I'm very interested on what they're going to go with. So yeah, Housemarque comes in at number 10. The reason why it's last place is because, of course, I do have to be fair, haven't played the most amount of Housemarque games, and I'm really only judging them off of Returnal. So that's why they're at the bottom of my top 10. Number 9 is a studio I have played a ton of games for, and the only reason it's at 9th and not higher is because of how they have been used. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in 9th place is Toys for Bob. Oh my gosh. Guys, Reignited Trilogy. Insane Trilogy, and the absolute masterpiece poster behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Crash Bandicoot 4. They are so good. It's unreal. They are so good, guys. I don't think you understand how good Toys for Bob is. And they have been basically forced to help develop Call of Duty past 2 years. And Call of Duty's still mid. If they were able to go on their own and do the games they wanted, they would be so much higher on this list. I'm telling you right now. Because, number 1, I love Spyro. Number 2, I love Crash. Number 3, I love those 3 games that I just listed. Therefore, I cannot wait to see what they do next, not including COD. Once Xbox gets a hold of them, I already know, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but there's a very good likelihood they stop working on COD and they actually get to do what they want. Which is super exciting, which is also why I'm very happy Activision is getting acquired by Xbox, because as much as, if you're not an Xbox fan, you have to give credit. They've done a really good job managing their studios and bringing back old IP and making new IP and letting studios have the creative freedom that they actually deserve. And so with Activision, which have struggled with all of those, it's going to be really fun to see what Toys for Bob can do, especially with Microsoft funding as well. Personally hoping for a brand new Spyro game. That would be great. Maybe a new IP would be awesome as well. I'm just really curious what Toys for Bob's going to do. They've had an incredible track record. It's really unfortunate they've been held back by COD, but still, nonetheless, I enjoy this game to this day. Just replayed Crash 4 a couple months ago, and I just started playing Reignite Trilogy for my first time a couple months ago, and God, they are just so good. Toys for Bob, outstanding. Moving on to 8th place is a studio that has also made some really great games, games I really do love, and they just absolutely nail the genre, and that is Techland. They nail the zombie apocalypse genre, the zombie genre. I mean, you have Dead Island 1, which is fantastic, Dying Light 1, which helped redefine the zombie genre, and Dying Light 2, which is my personal favorite zombie game at this point. Unless you count Plants vs. Zombies, then that's... But still, no, Techland is just really, really good. I just wish they had the correct amount of funding and space and creative freedom that they needed. I'm not saying they don't have creative freedom or the funding, but they could have a lot more if they were to be acquired by someone bigger. But nonetheless, they do make really great games. They know how to make a fun, addicting, and thrilling game, as in Dying Light 2, for instance. The parkour, the combats. The thing I think they could use work on the most, which is why I'm excited for the future for Techland, is the story. I loved Dying Light 2 story a lot, actually, more than a lot of other people. Some people did like it, though, I will say. But there is room for improvement. I'm not gonna lie. There were some issues with it. They could definitely improve, take it up a notch in their next game. Which, by the way, I can't wait to see what they do next. And that's really what's on this list. Is I have no idea what they're gonna do next. They're not developing Dead Island 2. Deep Silver is, and so it's kind of like, are they gonna do Dying Light 3, or are they gonna make a new IP, or what's going on here, right? So I'm very interested to see what Techland can do. Coming in at, what is this, number 7th, is actually one of my, oh my god, obviously it's on this list as my favorite, but I will say, from here on out, like, these top 7, honestly, could all be, like, in the top 3. They could all be in the top 3. That's how much I love them all. And here is, some of y'all are gonna laugh, Frontier Developments. Now, Frontier is the studio that makes Roller Coaster Tycoon, Planet Coaster, Thrillville, Planet Zoo. Yeah, they make those games. And look, the reason they're on here is I love like every game they make. That's just it. I love every game they make. They're my favorite Tycoon studio. Tycoon's a big genre of mine. I want the next Frontier game so bad. It's unreal. I hope to God it's Planet Coaster 2. I mean, I'm gonna play no matter what it is, but Planet Coaster 2 would be a dream. They are masters at the games that I love, and it just so happens that they make those games that I love. They're really just on here because of the games. That's it. Now, okay, that came off a little wrong. They have great talent as well. Obviously, creating games like that is not easy, and they crush it every time. Every time. I will say Planet Zoo was one of their weaker games, but it was still good to a certain extent. Zoo Tycoon, I actually really like, which is on Xbox at some point. I don't know if it still is or not. That was great. Yeah, Frontier dude, they kill it every time, and I already know they're gonna kill their next game, whatever it may be. Please, Planet Coaster 2. Moving on in sixth place is my favorite Xbox studio. And I feel like this is everybody's favorite Xbox studio, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, unless you're not a big RPG fan, then yeah, I don't see how this can't be your. I mean, they have like, according to like a article that happened a while ago, like a long time ago. I think I did a podcast on it at some point. They have like 8 games in development, or they want to release like 8 games within the next 4 years or something like that. They're insane, and they're all high quality too, which is even crazier. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Obsidian Entertainment, the makers behind Fallout New Vegas, Grounded. They're making Avowed. They made The Outer Worlds. They're making Outer Worlds 2. This studio is the Insomniac of PlayStation. They just know how to pump so much content, and all of that content be banger. That's just it. That's what makes a good studio, and that is what makes Obsidian, in my opinion, hands down, the best Xbox studio today. Now, I could definitely see other studios taking the place of best Xbox studio. It's not really competition, but just for the fun of it. I could see Playground Games taking that at some point. I could see, I could even see an Activision studio taking that at some point. It really just comes down to the content they're able to push and the quality of the content. Obsidian gets it both down to a T. It is so incredible what Obsidian. Anytime Obsidian comes on the screen, I'm in, dude. I am in. I'm ready to play this game. I don't even care what it is. It could be Balan's Wonderland 2. I don't care if it's made by Obsidian. I'm playing it, dude. All right. Am I gonna hold by that statement? Yes, I am, because Obsidian will make it actually good. See, that's the difference. Because to be fair, Balan's Wonderland is a pretty decent concept. It just sucked under whatever studio. I don't even know what studio. I mean, I know Square Enix published it, but I don't know who developed it. But no, completely off track. Obsidian's just goated. I can't wait to see all the other 8 games that they're making. We know they're making Avowed. We know they're making Outer Worlds 2. And I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, Pentiment, which is releasing this year. I'm actually looking forward to that game, honestly, just because it's Obsidian. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'd be playing it. They got tons of games in the works, I already know. And hoping, we heard rumors of a Fallout New Vegas 2, now that Xbox owns Bethesda and Obsidian. Don't toy with me, Xbox. Don't toy with me. Give me New Vegas 2. All right, moving on. We're entering the top 5. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get some honorable mentions out the way. These are honorable mentions that I actually want to touch on and talk about because they are some of my favorite studios. They just didn't make the top 10 cut due to certain reasons, which I will get into. The first one being one that saddens me to my core because this studio is actually goated and has made some of the best games, and they no longer exist. ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Sony Japan Studio. Oh, dude. R.I.P. Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush 2. Shadow of the Colossus. Oh, yeah, they just, dude, Sony Japan goes off. I know I'm forgetting another one. There was another one that I saw that I was like, oh, they made that, and I was like, no, why? Alright, yeah, they also made The Last Guardian. Yes, that is right. I forgot about that one. I should remember that because it takes place in the same universe as Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm very upset I couldn't remember that. But yeah, Sony Japan, absolutely great. The only reason they're not on it is, unfortunately, because they no longer exist. Sony shut them down. Biggest mistake, in my opinion, PlayStation's ever made. And that's saying something, because they've been making a lot here recently. But no, I love Sony Japan. And I will continue to love all the games that they've created. Yeah. RIP. Next one up is Platinum Games. I love Platinum Games. They make so many great games. They did have a couple misses, I'll say. Especially Babylon's Fall. That one was a complete miss. But I can't let that deny the absolutely incredible games they've made otherwise. Nier Automata and Nier Replicant are fantastic. You have Astral Chain, which is actually a really fun game. And then, of course, they're making Bayonetta. They just, yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. They know how to make games. That's the thing, which is actually really upsetting why Babylon's Fall failed. I don't really know why Babylon's Fall failed, but it did, because Platinum Games is so talented. It was just a miss. You can't always win, but still, Platinum Games is phenomenal. I just haven't played enough of their games to put them on my list. And it's not like Nier Automata and Nier Replicant are like some of my favorite games of all time. But I do really like them. I love them. I just don't. I haven't jumped in the Bayonetta series yet, and I've played very little of Astral Chain, and of course Babylon's Fall. So it's just not enough to put it in the top 10 for me yet. All right, next one up is Playground Games. I was talking about them earlier. I could see them getting on the list. I could see them becoming the best Xbox studio at some point. The only reason not is all they've made so far is Forza Horizon games, which, yes, to be fair, they are like the best racing games of all time, and they just always are they're literally always masterpieces. They just know how to make a good game, right? They're making Fable, though. They are making Fable. If they can pull that off, if that can be just as good as Forza Horizon, yeah. Definitely gonna be going on my top 10 list for sure. I need them to prove themselves with something other than racing for that's happened, because otherwise they are looking goated. Next up is Treyarch. Treyarch is my favorite Call of Duty studio. It's just they've kind of been falling recently and haven't really done much. That's why they're not up there. Yeah, I just put them on there because they are my favorite Call of Duty studio, and they are really good. They just have been lacking recently. All right, I am going to save those next three for later. All right, moving on to our top 5. Coming in at spot number 5, we have Respawn Entertainment. This is the studio that made Jedi Fallen Order, Titanfall, Apex Legends. They are so awesome. I love Respawn. Like, I feel like I loved every game that they've made. Apart from Apex Legends, I'm just not the biggest Battle Royale fan. I'm not the biggest Apex fan. But, I mean, it is a good game, though. But, of course, the big ones for me, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. You guys know that's my favorite franchise of all time. And Titanfall 2 is my favorite first-person shooter. So, therefore, I mean, I feel like they have to be in at least my top 5, right? And they're making like 3 games currently, which is bananas. One of them is obviously Fallen Order, or Fallen Order 2, which is Jedi Survivor. Dude, I love Respawn, dude. They just excite me so much every time I think about them, and every time I play a game, every time they show a game. It's just always excitement, always hype, always bangers. Respawn, best EA studio for sure. I mean, not even competition. Like, I don't even think I have a second EA game anywhere on this list. EA game, EA studio, because Respawn just kills it all. Just kill it. There is actually another EA studio on this list we'll get to later. The next one is easily one of my favorites. Could have been higher, but unfortunately the next 3 are just slightly better in my opinion. And that is Avalanche Studios. They make so many great games, alright? I know I sound like a broken record, but this is just how it is, right? They make the Just Cause series. They made Second Extinction, which was a day one Xbox Game Pass game. I really liked it a lot. They are currently making what's that one? Contraband on Xbox. They also made the Mad Max game. They made the Rage games. They're so awesome. I can't wait to see what they do next. And of course, I'm really hoping for Just Cause 5, as Just Cause 4 is my favorite, or not my favorite, my second favorite game of all time. Rico Rodriguez being one of my favorite characters of all time. They've just done so much for my love for video games, and I just had to put them up here because they're absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope Contraband ends up being just as good as I think it will be, because Avalanche kills it. Alright, before we go into the top 3, I'll finish off the rest of these one set of honorable mentions. We have Undead Labs. Undead Labs is also another great Xbox studio. The problem is that all they make is State of Decay, which, I mean, I don't blame them. Like, studios focused on a franchise, I'm here for it, because as long as they do a good job, and they do, it's just, I'm not going to be as excited as other studios, because anytime they're on the screen, you already know it's State of Decay. That's really it. Like, it's hard to get excited on what's to come from Undead Labs. You're more or less looking forward to State of Decay. Like, I'm really hyped for State of Decay 3, no lie. But that's just all Undead Labs does. But still, they're great. One of my favorites because of State of Decay. There you go. Next one I feel like is going to be studio on almost everybody's list. I'm just not the biggest into that genre, and that is From Software. I shouldn't say I'm not the biggest. I love Souls games. I've played so many of them. I look forward to them. Like, I love Souls. All right, I love Souls. But like, if I was ranking genres, it would be below a lot of other ones. I love every genre, though, is the thing. See, I hate even doing rankings about certain things, because I love them all. I love them all, man. I love every studio. Just have some favorites, all right? But yeah, no, From Software is great. Everybody knows that. They make literal masterpieces, like, on accident. That is so true, though. They just, everything they make just ends up either winning Game of the Year or, like, just being a masterpiece. Like, yeah, they're incredible. The last one I'd like to talk about is Ryu Ga Gotoku. They know how to push games. Jesus. They work so fast. It's unreal. The amount of Yakuza games that came out in, like, that one time area was just insane. Judgment games are both great. Every Yakuza game is great in its own way. And I'm a huge Yakuza fan. I guess they're calling it Like a Dragon now. I don't like that, to be honest with you. But no, I've been a huge Yakuza fan for a long time. I continue to love Yakuza. I'm super excited for Yakuza 8 and The Man Who Erased His Name and Ishin. All amazing. And honestly, like, every Yakuza game is, like, at least, I would say every Yakuza game is at least 8 or above. Only a couple being, like, even close to 8. I'd say there's one 8, there's one 8.5, and the rest are 9 or above. And that's real. That's how good of a franchise it is, guys. If you don't trust me, go play them, because they are flipping phenomenal. Getting into my top 3, though. Oh man, dude, this top 3 was so hard. Kind of okay. So the number 1 was really easy, right? My number 1 was super easy. It's to me, it's just the absolute best studio like right now, and yeah. But number 3 and 2, oh my god, I went through war in my head trying to figure out who I wanted third and who I wanted second because I love them both. But I ended up going with this. Purely based on what studio would I be more excited to see pop up in an event. And to be honest, part of it just goes to like a dream game. I'll explain once here. Coming in third place is Sucker Punch Productions, and coming in second place is NetherRealm Studios. So Sucker Punch Productions makes so many games. Ghost of Tsushima, Infamous, and Sly Cooper. All 3 franchises that I absolutely love. Ghost of Tsushima being my favorite game of all time. Alright, and then NetherRealm makes Mortal Kombat and Injustice. Fighting game. To be fair, okay, so this is why I went through war. Because Ghost of Tsushima is at the top. Then we got Injustice 2 being my favorite fighting game of all time. Then you got Mortal Kombat, which is in my top 5 favorite franchises of all time, right? But then you have Infamous, one of my favorite PlayStation franchises. And then you have Sly Cooper, which is a dead franchise that I absolutely love and want to come back. You see what I'm saying? So it's like Ghost of Tsushima, Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Infamous, Sly. So it's like, it kind of like balances it out. It's like so hard to choose. And it came down to, part of me, like, I get so excited when NetherRealm comes on the screen. It's like, we're getting the next NetherRealm game. Like, I get so hyped for the next NetherRealm game every time. And it comes down to that. I'd probably be more hyped for NetherRealm than Sucker Punch. I'd be popping off for both, though. So this is a whole stupid conversation to begin with. I'd be popping off for both. It'd be hard to tell which one I'm screaming louder for. Because I'll be screaming at the top of my lungs for both. Alright? I love them both. Sucker Punch does come in third, though. NetherRealm comes in second. But first place. First place goes to, in my opinion, this is my opinion, guys. I think a lot of people do agree with me, though, I'll be honest. They're just the best studio right now. It's unreal. Like, I don't understand how they're able to make the amount of content that they do and how good that content is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Insomniac Games from PlayStation. They are just, oh my gosh, Insomniac. From Sunset Overdrive on Xbox to the Ratchet & Clank Revision to the Spider-Man 2018 to the Spider-Man Miles Morales to the Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart to the Spider-Man 2 to the Wolverine game. Do you get the picture? They push so much content, and in case you haven't caught on, all those games are freaking amazing. Ratchet & Clank being Rift Apart being my favorite platformer of all time. Spider-Man being my third favorite game of all time. Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine being some of my most highly anticipated games. Sunset Overdrive being an absolute gem on Xbox. Do you get what I'm trying to say, people? They are the GOATs in the industry. They are right now, man. They are just the king. They cannot be stopped. Like, I'm sure they're working on 2 more games. They're probably working on the next Ratchet & Clank. They're probably working on something completely different that we have no idea about. Like, they're busted. They are busted. Yeah. I can't. Insomniac Games, dude. God, I want a t-shirt, I want a poster, I want a hat, like, all Insomniac. Like, give me all the Insomniacs, dude. Like, I'm sorry. For a studio this talented and that's made this many great games, I want to try and rep them as much as possible. They're actually the GOAT. They are, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time studios. Yeah, they're... Jeez, man. Jeez. Oh, man. Alright. But, guys, you know me. I love almost every video game. Like, I play everything, guys. I play everything. Really, like, people ask me, so what kind of games do I say? Everything. They're like, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, literally everything and anything. I don't care what genre it is. I don't care what studio. I don't care what company. I don't care when it releases. I don't care how much it is. I basically just play it all. I really do. Like, there's not a game that comes out that I don't at least look into. Right? It's as simple as that. I basically play everything that comes out, sometimes even if I'm interested in it or not. All right. I may not always play it day one, but I end up playing it eventually. Right. With that being said, I cannot end this video without at least mentioning some of the other, hundreds of fantastic studios. I wasn't able to get them all. There's so many other studios that I love, but these are some of the ones that came to my head. And so without further ado, enjoy this little list I have here. Remedy Entertainment, Koei Tecmo, ID Software, Rocksteady, Gearbox, Crystal Dynamics, Team Asobo, Arcane Studio, Kojima Productions, Atlus, Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, PopCap. There's the other EA studio, by the way. And heck, even Nintendo. We got Game Freak, Next Level Games, Mercury Steam, Retro Studios, Monolith Soft. Guys, I love gaming. I really do. Guys. Studios, give them more credit. Give them the credit they deserve. Give them the love they deserve. They are the people that make the games you love. Don't take that for granted, people. It is not an easy job. It is not. It is a hard job. I understand that. Yes, it may be fun, but it is hard. Alright? All love to all these studios, even if you're not in my top 10. Much love. Insomniac, NetherRealm, Sucker Punch, Avalanche, Respawn, Obsidian, Frontier, Techland, Toys for Bob, House Marquee, Sony Japan, Platinum Games, Playground Games, Treyarch, Undead Labs, From Software, Ryuga Gotoku, Remedy, Koei Tecmo, ID Software, Rocksteady, Gearbox, Crystal Dynamics, Team Asobo, Arcane, Kojima, Atlus, Game Freak, Next Level Games, Mercury Steam, Retro Studios, Monolith Soft, Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, PopCap, and the other hundreds of studios out there. Thank you for making the things we love. We appreciate your hard work, and we absolutely adore you guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like. Leave a comment section down below provided. What are some of your favorite studios, and what games have they made that you like? I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Johnny Muir out. Peace. Remember, guys, everybody plays the games differently, so play your way. All right, have a good one, guys. Johnny Muir out. Peace.